Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another Ray William Johnson video. Oh, I got his name right because usually it's a tongue twister for me. But yeah, this rich preacher is in prison now. I never understood how like preachers and pastors and stuff, how do they become rich? Because isn't the money donated to the church used for the church, or do they just send that money to their personal bank accounts and that's how they become rich? I don't know. If someone knows, explain it to me in the comments how they become rich doing this as a job. Dang, I'm choking on my spit. But anyway, let's get into the video, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below.
So this preacher, you are gonna hate this preacher.
What he do?
So I know you don't like me, but I'm divine.
Now his name is Lamore,
Okay.
and Lamore works as a mortgage broker. And one day in 2004, he
Okay.
decides he wants to be rich. So how's he gonna get rich? Well, see, Lamore is dating a woman who works at a car dealership, and she has access to all the customers' credit reports and personal information. And so Lamore steals her work login info, and I guess on his own computer, he uses it to access all the customers' information. And then he takes out loans and lines of credit in these customers' names. He then takes that money and he uses it to
Not
buy
this
himself
picture.
nice cars, nice clothes, jewelry. He buys himself a motorcycle. Oh, and he doesn't just steal the identity of one or two people. He steals the identity of over 50
Isn't this the guy? Whatever his name is. So I'm guessing these pictures are from previous videos.
different people, and apparently takes out more than $2 million in loans. And of course, people eventually catch on,
Was
and
interrupted by an
report him,
ad.
and bam, he gets arrested. Here's his mugshot. And so he spends 5
Okay.
years in prison, and he
Okay, so I'm gonna guess where this is going. So he got caught for doing this, and then I guess when he was in prison, he found God. And then he became a preacher, and then he started stealing money from I'm guessing. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
never does anything else bad again ever in his life. Until
Dang, this is early
So
until.
while he's in prison, one day
1 minute
Lamore
later.
gets an idea. I'm guessing he gets this idea in prison. I actually don't know where he got it. But at some point, Lamore realizes that he can really profit off of religion. So in 2013, he gets out. And within a few weeks of getting out, he sets up his own church. And he becomes the bishop of that church. And he starts it out of his home.
Wait, but wasn't this whole scam, whatever he did, wasn't he all up on the news? And then he gets out of prison. People don't remember. Maybe they forgot. I don't
A
know.
small group of people, and he eventually moves it to a more legitimate building space. And of course, with a guy like Lamore, what he's preaching is the prosperity gospel, which suggests that being wealthy will actually get you closer to heaven.
God chose me to be a preacher. Y'all think I want to be a preacher? I don't get paid from preaching.
Oh, he definitely gets paid from preaching. Not only that, he makes sure to show off his wealth in front of his congregation. Like he'll preach to them
They're not
wearing
side-eyeing
tailor-made
him?
designer suits, like this one.
Like how he gets his
one.
money.
He also wears nice rings and watches while he preaches. Even when he's not at church, he's always decked out in some super expensive designer shit. So, where's he getting the money to pay for all this stuff?
That's what I want to know.
Congregation, of course. And he's not just allegedly skimming from the donations. No, no, no. It's way more direct than that. Like one day, he calls up one elderly woman in his congregation, and he cons her into handing over her retirement fund. Like he tells her that he can improve her credit score and help her purchase and renovate a new home if she just invests with him. And she
But out of all these people that go to your church, no one recognized you from the news or this mugshot or your name. No one called him out.
believes him, and she hands over $90,000.
It's 2013. At this point,
and of course,
they can
instead
use
of
the internet.
helping her improve her credit score or buy a house, Lamore takes the money and he heads straight to Louis Vuitton, where he gets himself some
Louis
new
Vuitton.
grip. He also puts the money towards some payments on a BMW. And as you can imagine, pretty quickly after starting his church, Lamore becomes
It's interesting to me that people that steal money, they use it to buy like material things. Not saying I would steal, but if I was them, I would use it like on food, like good food.
The richest bishop on the block. Like he's driving around in a Rolls Royce. He also apparently has another Rolls Royce. This one's actually worth $350,000, by the way. He's also living in a 9,000 square feet mansion.
And I'm gonna walk y'all into my prayer closet. This is my prayer closet. Got all my priestly robes, designer coats.
Where's the
Louis, you name it.
where's all the religious stuff? Where the cross is? Where's the holy water? All I see is boxes
Fendi
and clothes.
You name it. Designer wear for days.
This is your prayer closet?
For days.
Not only that, he's getting kind of a JV celebrity status from all this, and people start calling him the Bling Bishop. And from there, his Instagram blows up to 1.3.
But people don't question how he's getting this money. Like even the people that he like scammed over the phone, like this lady, they're not like, like he's getting all this money. Where's my money?
3 million followers, and known people start affiliating with him. Like, here's footage of 50 Cent speaking at his church. Here he is apparently hanging out with Fat Joe. Here he is with Tracy Morgan. Here he is with Ja Rule. Here he is hanging out with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who's another shady guy that we talked about.
All these people would not be excited. Like, no shade to them, but I'd rather meet more interesting people. They don't seem interesting to me.
In a previous video, if you remember. Okay, but then something kind of crazy happens. Something that starts to change everything. One day in 2022, he's up in front of his congregation, preaching or whatever. And that is
3
when
years ago.
suddenly, boom, 3 men in masks bust into the building, and they have pew-pews. And Lamore is live streaming this sermon, so you can actually see the moment he realizes these men are there to
Is this
rob
the
him.
video footage?
How many of you have lost your faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through? Yo, all right.
And you can see him.
Wow. Did he hire these people? Because how they come inside when he says he's talking about death.
Faith because you saw somebody else die what you about to go through.
You saw somebody else die, what you about to go through. And then these people walk in. Was that a code word, code sentence? Is he in on this?
Yo, all right.
And you can see him here laying down on the floor, and then you can see these men come up and rob him. And they apparently steal $1 million worth of jewelry from the people there, including Lamore's watch and chain. His watch is a Rolex valued at $75,000. His chain is valued at $400,000. And he live streams afterwards and talks about all this.
They took all of my wife's jewelry and took all of
But yeah, like people that have all these expensive things, they're always quick to show it off on social media. So like, as Wendy Williams would say, the killer. But I guess in this case, the robbers, they see what you have. They know where you work. Of course, they're going to roll up.
my jewelry, and then they left.
And so, like, the story
If he's not in on it.
reporters are hitting him up, and they're asking him if he's going to wear less jewelry in church so that he's less likely to get robbed.
Are you gonna wear less bling so you're less of a target?
I will wear what I've been blessed with by God when I feel like it.
Now, police eventually end up catching the guys who did it. But this live stream footage of the robbery blows up. Because it's a crazy moment. A bishop getting
And then they're going to put two and two together with this mugshot of what he did earlier. How y'all late?
robbed in the middle of a sermon on a live stream? Like, what are the odds? And so this story ends up all over the news.
A Brooklyn bishop was robbed at gunpoint in the middle of his Sunday sermon today, and it was all caught on camera.
And people hear about it, and they're like, wait a minute, why was this preacher wearing a Rolex and a $400,000 chain? Where's bro getting all this money? And so allegedly, this is when reporters really start looking into him.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, also allegedly, some of them show up to his house to see if they can get a statement from him about some of the bad press he's been getting. You know, that big-ass house that he owns. But when they get
Where's the
there,
gate?
supposedly, they notice that there's a foreclosure notice on
Oh.
his door. And they see this,
He ain't
and
paying
they're
his
like,
rent.
what the hell is going on? Is the bling bishop actually broke? Apparently, yes. He had been spending all this money on his lifestyle, and at some point, he starts running into money problems. Like he's failing to make payments on those luxury cars that he got. He gets sued a couple of times over failing to make
That's
loan
what he gets.
repayments. And so it seems like Lamore needs
Don't
money
feel bad.
real bad, and he starts getting pushy about getting it. And one day, he tries to target this guy, Brandon.
Okay, so I guess he wasn't in on the robbery. I thought he hired those people. Because the timing of when they came in, I was like, okay.
Owns a local auto body repair shop. And I have no idea how these two guys know each other, but at some point, Lamore tries to get $5,000 from him. And he threatens to use force if he doesn't get it. So I guess he's like, I'll kick your ass if you don't give me $5,000. And if that isn't bad enough, then he tries to get Brandon to lend him $500,000. And in exchange, he promises to give him access to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Told you that guy was shady. But Brandon is like, F all this, and he turns on him and he starts cooperating with the FBI. And the FBI sets up a whole sting operation, and they get Brandon to wear a wire and meet up with Lamore. And so he meets up with Lamore. And Lamore swears to him that he has connections with Mayor Eric Adams, and whatever business scam he's trying to get him into is gonna make them millionaires. And this whole conversation is recorded for the feds to hear. And eventually, after a long investigation, the feds find him and bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And he
Second
goes to
one.
trial and he's found guilty for wire fraud and a bunch of other stuff, and he's sentenced to 9 years in
Dang.
prison.
Wait, was that in 2023? So he's still in prison. But dang, like, no one recognized him from this first crime. And, like, also people at the church, they didn't realize or notice he's wearing all this expensive stuff. It only happened when he blew up online from the robbery, and people that don't know him had these questions, but people that actually knew him in person and saw him at church, they didn't have these questions. Anyway, people are weird. That is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. And if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI V. And if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.